next is a small British car manufacturer, Morgan. We talked about Ariel the Ariel Hypercar last week. There's a link down below on that if you're interested in learning more about the Ariel Hypercar. But this is another very small kind of niche British auto manufacturer. What's crazy about Morgan, so first off, there's a really good article in EVO magazine. I'll put a link down below so you can read that. And this is kind of what brought this onto my radar over the last few days. And they're talking with the new CEO of Morgan, the Chief Project Management Officer at Lamborghini, before coming over to Morgan as their new CEO. His name is Massimo Fumarola. I probably butchered that. My Italian friends, please correct me in the comments below if I butchered that. But yeah, Morgan's been around for a long time. They've been around since 1909. And again, there's a ban on combustion engine cars that's happening in 2030 and in the EU. Which is where most of Morgan's cars are sold, and they realize they need to adapt. They don't have much time before that ban takes effect, and it will affect even small auto manufacturers like them. So they realize that they need to adapt and grow, and that's why they're bringing in this new CEO who's coming from a high performance brand in the Volkswagen Group. And it's funny that the Massimo, he even makes a reference to in this interview that EVO did. Like, I'm going from the largest manufacturer in the world, being part of VW Group, to one of the, if not the smallest, at Morgan. So definitely understands that it's a different ballgame that he's going to be playing here with Morgan. But what's also interesting is that the board has put a lot of trust in him to adapt and evolve Morgan for the electric age, I guess is the best way of saying it. And they're not pushing him to rush, and they realize that they can't just take an electric platform from the Volkswagen Group or from some other big manufacturer, because what Morgan is known for, in the same way that Lotus is nimbleness and lightweight and purity. Right, and Morgan realizes that is their core DNA, and that's what their customers buy Morgans for. And because of that, they realize they're going to have to do it themselves as far as the vehicle development and platform. They talk about this in the article. They're open to sharing, motors and battery technology, but they realize that they need to do their own platform, their own car, and that's what they're investing a significant amount of money in over the next few years to do. So just going through this article, right, they're being careful, right? Like I just said, it was my big takeaway about not going too mainstream, because Morgan is very unique. And I mean, some of these images from this concept they showed back in 2019, right? There's a uniqueness to Morgan that they realize they need to maintain. It's in their DNA, and that's what their customers are buying, right? They can go somewhere else if they want something that's a little bit more traditional or a little bit more mainstream. And this is going to be interesting to watch how Morgan does this, because one of the things that we talked about with the Ariel Hypercar is how do you maintain a decent amount of range while maintaining lightweight, because with battery technology, at least as it currently is, right, that's a hard thing to achieve. Is a lightweight battery that can still get you a decent amount of range, like Ariel, right there. At least in this concept, the concept they showed, it was a turbine jet engine range extender. I don't expect Morgan to do that, but I will be curious to see and watch what Morgan does with this EV evolution. I mean, Morgan's for the longest time had ashwood frames, not the chassis, but there were certain parts of the body structure, the body reinforcement that were made of wood. Maybe they continue to do some of that, right, out of history and legacy, but also out of the idea of lightweighting. I mean, even Corvettes for the longest time, right, they used a balsa wood floor because as a way to stiffen the floor on the vehicle. They used wood, and the reason they used wood is because it was the right material for the job. It was light, because it's balsa wood, but it also provided them with the stiffness that they needed as kind of a structural core. And it also had great noise, vibration, and harshness and VH properties to help with noise. So again, we need to be thinking cleverly about this. I would assume balsa wood is also fairly environmentally friendly. So be curious to see where Morgan goes with this EV initiative. And right, they're going to take their time. They're going to do it right by their customers, which is of course, that's the right way to do it. Is the ban on internal combustion engines, right? Starts phasing in 2030. So they've got 7-8 years to figure it out. So yeah, let's see what their new CEO from Lamborghini does, and it sounds like he has the full support of the board to take his time and to do it right by Morgan. So more to come on this one, but I just wanted to get that out there, and definitely read through that EVO article if this is of interest to you, because right, it's a cherished brand by those who know Morgan, and yeah, this will be one to watch, particularly in the enthusiast electric space.